Welcome to the module on basics of interview techniques. Today we will be talking about some of the possible questions in aggregate related to highway engineering which can be asked and how to answer these questions. So let us start with the basics of what is an interview is, and then we will enter into the set of questions which will be answered one by one. What is an interview? An interview is essentially a structured conversation where one participant asks questions and the other provides the answer. So in common parlance, the word interview refers to a one-to-one conversation between an interviewer and an interviewee. The interviews usually takes place face-to-face or in person. In simple words, an interview is a conversation where somebody is trying to get information from another person about their knowledge on a particular subject. The person asking question is the interviewer and the person answering the questions is the interviewee. Researchers use an interview to ask people to find how they feel or what they know about something. Similarly, the industries conduct interviews to select their workforce in order to actually get the work done in the right manners, whether the competency of that particular person who is being selected is fit for that particular job or not. And there are other types like you can have the leaders being interviewed in order to comment or give their opinion on a particular issues. So today we will be talking about especially the corporate interviews where the corporate industries select people to check their competencies on a particular subject and offer them the right position in the industries. In highway engineering, we will be dealing with soil, aggregate, bitumen, GSB, WMM, and concrete. In the previous module, we talked about some of the questions in soil. Today, we will be focusing on aggregate, and in the next module, we will be talking about some questions in bitumen. So in set 1, some of the possible questions in set 1 related to quality control department which can be asked during the interviews are: how do we determine the combined flakiness and elongation index? What is the aggregate impact value test? What is the significance of aggregate impact value test? And what is the nominal maximum size of aggregate? Now, the first question, the answer for the first question is the combined flakiness and elongation index is determined using the indexing gauge. First, the flakiness of the samples needs to be checked, and then the non-flaky materials will be taken out, and elongation index is determined for the non-flaky materials. Now, combination of the flakiness and elongation so determined will give you the combined flakiness and elongation index. Means for any given set of aggregates, you need to find out the flakiness first, then remove the flaky materials, and for non-flaky materials you have to determine the elongation index. So the combination of flakiness index and elongation index determined will give you the combined flakiness and elongation index. Next question is, what is the procedure of aggregate impact test? If you see the procedure, you have to first make the sample with 12.5 passing and 10 mm retained aggregates in a cylindrical mold. Then you have to fill the mold in 3 layers, each tamping 25 blows. A hammer of weight 13.5 to 14 kgs is used to compact the material in the cylindrical mold. The hammer is raised to a height of 38 centimeters and allowed to fall freely. The test specimen is subjected to 15 blows. The crushed aggregates such obtained is being sieved to 2.36 millimeters IS sieve, and then the aggregate impact value or AIV is calculated and expressed as percentage of fines formed in terms of the total weight of the samples. What is the significance of aggregate impact value test? The answer for this question is aggregate impact value test is done to determine the hardness of the jaw crushers being used in the crushing plant, and it also gives you the strength of the aggregates. What is the nominal maximum size of the aggregate? The nominal maximum size of the aggregate is the size of the sieve through which 90 to 100% material passes. That means if you see the table given below, the table for grading requirement of coarse aggregate which is being extracted from IS 383, and if you see the 20 nominal maximum size aggregate, then for 20 aggregate through 20 sieve, 85 to 100% is passing. That means it's not 100% pass. The material, the aggregate is not 100% passing from the sieve size 20 That is the reason we call it as this particular aggregate as 20 nominal maximum size of the aggregate. Whereas any size greater than that in this particular set of values, 40 will be the maximum size of aggregate, because through 40 100% aggregate is passing. So the difference between the nominal and the maximum size of aggregate is nominal maximum size of aggregate will have some percentage of passing through that sieve, whereas in case of maximum size of aggregate, 100% of the aggregates is retained on that particular sieve. The next set of questions in aggregates are: what is the importance of grading of aggregates? What is the difference between the dry and SSD conditions of aggregates? What happens when the water absorption of coarse aggregate is more than 2%? What is the maximum size of the aggregate? The answers to these questions are: what is the importance of grading of aggregates? Grading indicates the distribution of different size of particles present in the mix. It helps in proportioning when two or more size of aggregates are required to be mixed. For example, in concrete, you are supposed to mix 20-10 and sand. For WMM, you are supposed to mix 40-20-10 and crushed sand. So whenever there is a need to mix two or more type of aggregates in order to achieve the required gradation, grading is helpful. What is the difference between the dry, air dry and SSD condition of aggregates? The pores connected to the surface are partially full of moisture, but the surface remains dry. Air dry aggregates will absorb water from the surrounding cement paste as shown in the figure. The figure shows a particle, aggregate particle, with blue color showing the water in between. And this is the figure of the same aggregate which is completely dry. We call it as a oven dry aggregate. And when it is SSD conditions, the pores connected to the surface are completely full of moisture, but the surface remains dry as shown in the photograph. If the surface is also covered, that means it is wet aggregate. Saturated surface dry aggregates are at equilibrium. They will neither absorb nor give up water to the surrounding cement paste. That is the reason why we calculate the mixed design calculations, especially the concrete mixed designs, at SSD conditions. What happens when water absorption of coarse aggregate is more than 2%? It needs to be tested for soundness to confirm its suitability for use as a wearing course or any other ingredients of any particular type of materials, like whether it is WMM or concrete or GSB, whatever it is, and it reflects the softness of the aggregate. More the water absorption, more the soft aggregate is. The chances of wear and tear of aggregates is more whenever the water absorption is more than 2%. That is the reason why we have limited the water absorption of a particular aggregate to 2%. But if the water absorption is more than 2% and the soundness is within the limit, that means the wear and tear is within the limit, and then those aggregates can be used as a wearing course aggregates. What is the meaning of maximum size of aggregate? The maximum size of aggregate is the size of sieve through which 100% aggregates are passing. For example, in a given grading table, which is basically the gradation of GSB materials starting from grading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. For each grading, you have a particular sieve through which the material is 100% passing. That means for grading 1, maximum size of aggregate is 75. For grading 2, maximum size of aggregate is 53. For grading 5, again the maximum size of aggregate is 75. So this is the meaning of maximum size of aggregate, and the next sieve will be the nominal size of the aggregate. Coming to set 3 of questions, possible questions on aggregate related to QAQC department are: what is the significance of water absorption test? Why aggregate abrasion value is important for wearing surfaces? What happens when the flakiness of the aggregate is more than 35%? Why petrography test is important for aggregates? What is the significance of water absorption test? Water absorption of aggregates gives an indication about the softness of the aggregates. When the water absorption is more, the AIV and the LAV will also exceed their specified limits. Water absorption values indicates the porosity of the rock. The next possible question could be: why aggregate abrasion value is important for wearing surfaces? Aggregate abrasion value indicates the wear and tear of the aggregates. When used in wearing courses in roads, due to the movement of the traffic, the durability will get affected. More the LAV values, more is the wear and tear of the aggregates. Therefore, utmost care is taken in order to choose the aggregates which are being used for wearing courses. If the abrasion value is more, it is advisable to avoid using such aggregates, especially in wearing courses. The next question is: what happens when the flakiness of the aggregate is more than 35%? The concrete mix will become non-cohesive, and you can observe the segregation in the mix when the flakiness of the aggregate is more than 35%. The cost of concrete will go up due to the fact that additional cement is required in order to bind the materials, in order to create the cement paste, and in order to increase the strength. Because of flakiness, the aggregates breaking will be more, leading to the reduced compressive strength. So it is always required, or it is always advisable to limit or to check the flakiness index of the aggregates which are being used in concrete. Why petrography test is important for aggregates? A petrographic exam of the aggregates in hardened concrete will identify the aggregate type, size, shape and amount of to determine if it is within the design specifications. The bond to the cement paste is also evaluated, which often correlates with the strength. The petrographic test is used for testing the suitability of the aggregates in concrete as per ASTM C295. So this is basically a durability test which is often used and is used once to approve the source of the aggregate in the initial stages. Once the source is approved, if there is no major change in the aggregate source, then the petrographic test need not be repeated again. But this test has to be done definitely for each type of aggregate which is being used in the concrete. Now, in order to hit the bull's eye, you need to be confident, you need to be effective, and you need to be knowledgeable. So some of the key points which one should keep in mind while attending the interview in order to make their interviews a success is they have to be confident while appearing for an interview. They should have the intelligence in control. They should be vigilant enough to understand the questions and answer them accordingly. They have to be innovative, like if they're stuck in somewhere, they should know how they have to come out of that situation. And then the answers must be logical so that while answering, they should be feel confident and satisfied, and at the same time, even the interviewer also has the same feeling. So to summarize this module, we talked about the definition of interviews. We talked about some of the possible questions in highway engineering related to QA/QC department. There are three sets of questions in aggregates which were discussed in this module today. Till then, thank you. Thank you for watching. Do tune in for more updates.